Welcome to another episode of the Presidential Executive Podcast. What's going on? This your boy JB. Rag over here. Hope everything is going well with y'all, man. Rag, what it do?
Man, you got it. Slow motion.
Making it happen. Slow motion. Again, y'all, subscribe, share, follow, like the Presidential Executive page on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And also, follow us on JBTV on YouTube. I had almost a little brain fart with that. But yeah, JBTV on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, please. We appreciate everybody that's watching and like, but also do us a favor and subscribe as well, please.
Yeah, when we post these videos, and I know like we're getting views and stuff on it, but when you watch it, make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Yes.
Like even if you don't hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Right. You're helping us out because
for sure.
If y'all want to see more content,
yes,
you know, because this is something we could definitely do. You know, all day, every day.
We talk. That's what we do.
Yeah, we get it in. So, you know, help us out with that good subscription so we can keep putting out content. You know, also make sure you leave comments, you know, because some of the topics and anything like that, like we have some we're going to have guests for, but like we take all topics into consideration. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean we're going to do them, but again, like, you know, we may spin it into something interesting, you know, that you all might enjoy. So make sure you do that.
Let's do it. So Pepe Le Pew has been in the news lately. I think me and him maybe think, you know, well, maybe not differently. I know like Pepe Le Pew, if people don't know, Looney Tunes, right?
Character with Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Elmer, Yosemite Sam, Speedy Gonzales,
all that stuff.
He was a skunk on Looney Tunes.
Yeah, and he was. I just remember, you know, him just the funny his voice and you know what I'm saying, like that stuff. You know, kind of got to me. Now, you know, I'm gonna let him go here in a minute, but you know. What I look at it is, I'm not with the cancel culture stuff. Yeah, I'm not with the cancel culture at all, you know. But, you know, you got to pick your battle sometimes. And so, from what I heard, they took him off the Space Jam 2, right? From LeBron Space Jam 2. That's what I read, at least. They took him off the Space Jam 2 just because of the times. And so, they believe that Pepe Le Pew is encouraging kind of rape culture or like basically touching people or touching women when they don't want to be bothered. And so, and also I believe it was Stand Up by Dave Chappelle in 2000. And, you know, he actually the one that kind of brought this up, which kind of made me think when you said the Pepe Le Pew, they canceled him. I looked it up. I remember Dave Chappelle had a stand up and he made a statement. It was like, you know, what kind of rapist was this? Because he was looking at it between a lens of as an adult now, then when he was a child, he was like, what kind of rapist is this? And then I went back to look, I'm like, yeah, he was kind of pushing up on, you know, the folks, and they had the little girls or women kind of running away from him, and he had always grab them up and be. So although I hate the cancel culture, I'm not going to fight this one. Like, because I have 4 small kids myself, and so some of the stuff that they watch, like if I look at it between that, like would I want EJ to, if he saw, because he tried to do stuff that he see on TV, you know, if he grabbed a girl up at school or something and was trying to kiss her or something like that, just, you know, off it, you know, that wouldn't be cool, because I got a girl now, so I kind of think differently a little bit now too. So it's like if somebody did Abby like that, you know what I'm saying, without her consent or something, I'd be hot. You know what I'm saying? I'd be mad. So I'm not with the cancel culture, but I ain't going to fight on this one. I ain't going to fight on this one personally. I'm not going to fight because I'm just like, I'm not. I get it. It's always to an extreme. It is a cartoon character. I believe it first came out in 1949, but I'm not going to fight it just because I'm like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, cool. So, you can have it right. What's up, man?
So first of all, like, let's keep this in mind.
Let's go.
They're animals.
True.
So now, I don't know if you had a dog before. Sinbad made a joke once on was the movie House Guest. He was talking to the dog.
I remember that movie. Yeah,
and he said, like, see, it's a difference between me and you. Like, you know, if I want a woman, I got to take her out, wine and dine her. You know, convince her why I'm a dude. You know, if you want a woman, if she don't run that fast, you got you a girlfriend. The joke he was making, if you've ever seen like any animal, dogs, bulls and cows, horses, it's not any courtship that's going on. It's not any permission being asked. Now, again, I'm not saying as people that we should run up on women or men or whatever.
Right.
But this is my thing. And if you always remember, because I used to watch those, like, I'm a Looney Tunes tard. I used to watch those cartoons.
Looney Tunes was
if
the bomb.
If you remember, every episode, clearly, the first reason why it was no attraction is that she was actually a cat. He was a skunk. Mm-hmm. If you remember, he showed no interest in her until she would always run up under some paint, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And she would get that stripe painted down her. Like, she would run through. One time I remember it was like somebody had painted a fence and she ran up under the fence and she had the stripe painted down the back. And so he thought that she was a female skunk. Mm-hmm. So obviously, you know, he's a romantic, but he's in mating season. He's trying to court this woman. And if you remember, he always would come with like his flowers and stuff and everything like that. Like he was wooing her. She wasn't interested. The first reason, because she wasn't a skunk. Mm-hmm. She was a cat. Mm-hmm. And so he didn't understand, because to him, she looks just like a female skunk. Right. You know what I'm saying? And if you've ever actually seen, like, now skunks are a little bit wider and everything like that. But like if you took a black cat and painted a stripe down its back or whatever, like it could pass, you know, certain breeds of cats can pass for a skunk. Mm-hmm. The other reason was, if you remember, as he's hopping around doing this little hop, because he's always doing that little hop trot, he always got the smell going behind him. And like the flowers are wilting, like humans would be walking by fainting and passing. Right. And sometimes she would actually be sitting there chilling and she would smell him and she was running away from the smell of him. Mm. And I remember in particular, was one episode where I can't remember if he got sprayed with something and the scent wasn't coming off, or if he got hit with some cologne or something like that and the scent wasn't coming off, and she smelled that fragrance of him and it reversed. She was all over him. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, whoa, like, you know, you took a great, like, but again, so like you see the two reasons that she was turned off is, number one, because she wasn't a skunk. Number two, he had an offensive smell. And so like I saw somebody comment and they was like, shoot, that taught me as a dude, you got to always smell good. Right. The reason why I think this is dangerous though, because we can go down the list of TV shows and cartoons and everything like that. But like, again, first of all, it's a cartoon. Right. It's not encouraging rape culture. It's not encouraging homophobia or transgender phobia or racism or bias or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It was strictly played for laughs at this hopeless romantic, you getting rejected, like Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo was a hopeless romantic, but guess what? All the women shot him down. He didn't show up in nobody's bedroom. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't putting nothing in nobody's drink. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Guess what? You as a woman and as a man, you have a right to say no. Mm-hmm. But this is what trips me out though, because we live in a society and a culture, and I've heard women plenty of times that go out and say, I don't know, man. I must not be attractive, but nobody said nothing to me. Well, hold on. Because we live in an age where a lot of guys are scared to come up and say something, because if I say something and you say no, now I'm harassing you because I'm not the guy that you want to come up and talk to you. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And so again, I watch those cartoons and no woman can ever say, you know what I'm saying, that I took advantage of her. Mm-hmm. And I've been in some situations where somebody said, I don't want to talk to you right now. And somebody said, okay, no, I'm done. I'm good. And guess what? I had to leave. I had to go. Yeah. But me watching Pepe Le Pew did not make me, you know what I'm saying, start throwing women in my car, you know, going up, hemming women up in the corner at the club or anything. Me watching Johnny Bravo didn't do that. Right. Now,
I agree with that. I would agree with that. And I agree with all that. I'm just like, when I look at it, Actually, I looked at some old stuff on YouTube, some Pepe Le Pew, just to, refresh my memory because it's been a minute. So I'm like, although I get it, I'm not gonna fight that one. Now I will fight Speedy Gonzalez though. I heard they trying to fight off him.
But Hispanics have came forward and said that they're not offended by it.
Right.
Because they took him off Cartoon Network a few years ago.
Yeah.
And like, I forget, I don't want to misname the delegation, but some people said we don't have a large representation of Hispanic characters on TV. And so the one that we got, you want to take off because you're trying to be offended for us.
See, I didn't get that because like I will fight Speedy, but I ain't gonna fight Pepe Le Pew. Like Speedy was just, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, they're trying to cancel Speedy Gonzalez because he represents a drunk Mexican like character or something like that.
That's not Speedy, that's his cousin Slowpoke.
Okay.
Because he had a cousin Slowpoke, and Slowpoke talked real slow and dragging, but he kind of
so why are they trying to cancel Speedy?
I mean, I would say the canceling because I was listening, I listen to a lot of podcasts and different things like that.
Yeah.
But they were talking about banned cartoons. And so you got the censored 11, which is like 11 different either cartoons, individual or specific characters that they don't play no more. Mm. One of them is called Bosco and Honey. And Bosco was clearly like a black-faced colored boy who was an early precursor to like a lot of the Looney Tunes cartoons and stuff like that. And Honey was like his, girl that he was always with, but she was clearly a black-faced colored girl.
Okay.
And they actually did an episode on the Tiny Toons like years ago where Babs Bunny was like the only female, like Honey was her hero, and they didn't have, back in the day, they didn't have a lot of female cartoon characters for girls to look up to. And she looked up to Honey, but they didn't play her cartoons no more. But the way they had her in Tiny Toons, she looked kind of like, they had them looking like dogs, like.
Right.
But initially, you could clearly see that they were humans, but it was like blackface. That's why I don't play them no more. That old Disney song, Zippity Doo Dah, they don't play that no more because it's from a cartoon called Song of the South, which portrayed a guy.
Do Looney Tunes even come on again still?
Who, Looney Tunes?
They don't come on.
Yeah, no, they play a lot of the old episodes.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, so they were trying to cancel Speedy because they were saying it was offensive to people of Mexican descent or people of Latino descent because it portrayed them in a negative light, him and his cousin Slowpoke. And so, but you had a delegation that came forward that was like, no, like we're not offended by that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're doing us a disservice by removing our representation off of TV. And then it wasn't like he was in a whole lot of cartoons anyway.
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you might have maybe like 20, 25 cartoons over like a 40-year period.
Right.
Which is not even one a year.
Yeah. And
you're going to remove the 20, 25 that you got.
Like, I'll fight for Speedy. Like, but Pepe, I get it. But I'm like.
And again, though, we want to take the responsibility off of parents.
Yeah.
As a parent, I remember my dad and my mom saying, you don't do, like, if you want to talk to a girl, you don't do that. If she don't want to talk to you, walk away.
Right.
And so we expect for these TV shows to, ain't nobody telling my daughter more about life than me.
Yeah.
And so at a certain age now, when she listens to certain stuff, I know she gonna listen to it anyway. Now, I might not let you listen to it in my face.
Right.
But I need to know what's going in your ears.
Yeah.
But we're going to have a conversation about that. What do you think that means? How does that make you feel? Do you know what they're actually talking about? And then some stuff, once she know, she don't even want to watch no more or listen to herself no more.
Right. Like I have my second oldest Tobias, man. Like he would literally sit there with us and watch some stuff. We were watching Power one time. Mm-hmm. We didn't know he came in the room. We just watching it. This dude is sitting here just like enjoying it, like the whole thing. We like go back to your room, go watch what EJ watching. No, I want to sit here and watch this with y'all. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to, then when obviously some nudity scenes come on, either all right, you gotta get out, because especially Power. They be getting it in.
Oh, yeah. Every episode.
Yeah.
At least twice.
Yeah, they be getting it in. But
at least twice.
But like you said, you have to really, get into the stuff with the parents. Just like, I know I said the thing like with EJ, like certain stuff that they watch, they may watch a new show, right? Some on Netflix, and I'd be like, okay, let you watch it, and then it may be a day or two later, I'd be like, okay, y'all watching this a lot. Let me sit down with you to kind of see what you really getting into. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, one of the shows, I can't even think of the name of it, honestly, had like some homosexual type of vibe, cartoonish or something like that. So I'm just like, you know, just ask some questions, just like what you think about this, or what character do you like, or what, you know. And so just to kind of inquire and just to be like, okay, well, you know, men do this. You know what I'm saying?
But that's parenting.
Right.
And check this out, though. If you watch the Pepe cartoons, if you remember, every time, if you watch the whole thing, every time she got hit with some water, like a truck came by, splashed some water on her, or she jumped in some water, or it rained.
Right.
When she lost the color of the skunk, he didn't, like, he was like, oh, my bad. I thought you was somebody else.
Right.
So that again, we were like, look at the whole, like we talked about on the rundown. Context is everything. He's under the impression that if you were a female, like, this is what I do in a certain situation, and it's almost like, you know, when you go, because you went to TSU. You know, I didn't go to TSU, but there's a lot of TSU people who thought I went to TSU.
Yeah, for sure.
When you go to, it's a difference between being at a club or a TSU party and being at church or being at the library, or being at Walmart.
Yeah.
You can't necessarily, now, depending on where you're at, you might, but you can't necessarily approach a woman at a grocery store or at church or at Walmart the same way you would a woman at a club or at a party. You understand. And again, sometimes, depending on who it is or where you at or what's going on. And I've been in some situations where somebody might be looking at you a certain way, or they're grinning at you a certain way, or laughing a certain way. So you step to them a certain way, and you have to come back and be like, oh, my mistake. I thought this was something that it wasn't. My bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I sat up and had a 5 conversation with a chick, and then she'd be like, you know, so what's up with that money though? Like, how much money you got? Like, what you doing? Like, oh, you know what? I misunderstood. I thought this was something that it wasn't. Thank you for the conversation. You know what I'm saying? You don't owe me nothing for the drink or whatever, man. You have a good evening. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it, but my approach to an outsider, it'd be like, man, he grilling her. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just having a conversation. At any point in time, you can say, no, I'm good. And again, in Pepe's mind, and all they were making fun of was this idea that I think this is somebody, and they used to do this all the time with like Bugs Bunny, when Bugs Bunny would dress up like a woman and get like your Trick, Yosemite Sam or Elmer Fudd or whatever, and they would be moving a certain way until they found out that, oh snap, you a rat, you Bugs Bunny, you're not this chick I thought was a chick, you. And then their perception was different. And that's all I'm saying. They were making fun of the idea that perception is reality. And he perceived her to be a female skunk. The moment that he saw like, oh, you're not what I thought you were, he was, oh, my bad, I'm on and moving. But to the flip though, the episode where he got sprayed with the cologne and he was smelling good, she was all over him. Right. The outrage is not given for Miss Piggy and how she did Kermit. The outrage is not given for how Miss Parker checked that. And women all the time was like, oh, you know, she gonna get her Professor Ogilvy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we can go down the line on Tiny Toons. We know they had the little purple skunk that was all over. She would be all over the med, like Buster and Hampton and Plucky. Like she would be all over them. Yeah. And they didn't, and she was the female equivalent. And she wasn't confused. Like, she knew that was a pig. She knew that was a bunny. She knew that was a duck. Like, they wasn't painted, you know, black with a stripe going down their back. Like, she knew that those were other people, and she was all over them. You know what I'm saying? And so the same outrage is not given. And I'm not saying that it should be fair. I'm saying, like, where do we draw the line at? Because you know they're passing a bill, which basically is telling people how to think. It's telling people. So now when you go to church, if you don't preach a certain message, you could be found for breaking the law. Yeah. Like, where do we draw the line at? it's getting to and that's all I'm saying. It's getting to the point where it's getting ridiculous. If Joe Blow down the street is running up on women and then yes, he needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And a cartoon that was made 50 years ago, 60 years ago, that clearly is not pushing a rape culture message. But you can make anything be what you want it to be. Okay? Like, if somebody was molested by somebody who was wearing a blue hoodie, and they walk into a room and you like the Cowboys, right? So that's blue, gray, black, gray, blue, white, gray, blue, you know what I'm saying? It's got the blue in it. And somebody walking here and they fall out and have a panic attack. Are you liable because of an experience that they had that don't have nothing to do with what you got going on?
Right.
And so now I got a navy blue car. If they see my car, they could have the same panic attack. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not saying because I drive a blue car that I want to molest you like the person who molested you with the blue hoodie on. You're not saying I want to do harm to you like the person because you're wearing you like the University of Memphis. Right. You like the Cowboys. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that every time we don't have anything to be outraged about. So now we got to find something to be outraged about.
Yeah.
I mean, like last time I checked, ain't nobody even checking for Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah. Well, and that's my only argument that I would say is that with the Pepe Le Pew, it's like, let's say he is in the Space Jam 2. This is a whole new generation.
But you can make it to where he's not doing that.
That's not doing that. Right. And that's my thing. So basically, if you're, I'm 38, be 39 here in about a month. But I mean, really, if you're below, say, 32, you probably aren't, familiar with Pepe Le Pew to that extent. So Space Jam 2 is pretty much
what I'm saying though is, again, I'm not saying
to the whole thing.
You have the relevant characters, but what I'm saying is he was a relevant character.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so you're trying to make up a basketball team or whatever. So now you're either making up new characters, which have no connection to anything, which is pandering, like what we talked about last week. And that's what they're doing now. But you can make it to where he's like, maybe not trying to kiss on him, but present him with flowers, and he's more like a Johnny Bravo type.
I'm trying to think. Even in Space Jam 1,
he was in it, but he didn't have.
Well, he didn't do that. Though.
Yeah, he didn't do that. That's what I'm saying.
He was just in it.
You don't have to do, because Daffy didn't do half of the crazy stuff he was doing.
Yeah. Like,
think about it. Think about how many times Daffy blew up somebody or killed himself in a cartoon. He didn't do that in the first Space Jam.
Right. Yeah. No.
You know what I'm saying?
That was Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny was the head honcho.
Wasn't. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to make him go to the extreme. You know what I'm saying? But what you're saying is that anytime, and what I've learned in life is whether or not I'm offended about something is up to me. I don't like people being offended for other people because we live in an age where that happens a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you went to TSU. I didn't go to TSU. So now if somebody dogs TSU, I don't have a right to be offended by that. I didn't go to TSU. I have no vested interest in TSU. But that's like me saying, oh, my nigga JB went to TSU and B Howard went to TSU and AO went to TSU and Keenan went to TSU for a minute. So I'm offended because I have no connection to TSU.
Yeah.
So I don't have a right to be offended for you or B Howard or AO or Keenan or McDade or anyone. Like, I don't have a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a right to be offended for MTSU.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I went to the University of Memphis for a semester. I really don't even have a right to be offended by that.
But we rep that. We just,
what I mean? Yeah, because it's the hometown. I'm just saying. Like, but I just think that it's a lot of that going on. Whereas if you ask the people, and like again, why I think Coming to America wasn't funny, the sequel, because you try not to offend anybody. But you go back and ask the LGBTQ plus community,
I gotta do the same
about
thing.
Delirious and Raw back in the day, they weren't offended. And these are the people who live the moment.
Yeah.
But now we got people trying to be offended for other people when you go back and watch it. people who actually sat up and watched it and trip.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I got, man, my god's is one of her closest homeboy is a gay dude. And he like, and we sit up, and he used to come to parties all the time that we have and everything. I mean, and you would never know unless he just flat foot said it. You would never know that that's where he was in life. You know what I'm saying? So we sit up talking, and we sitting up talking about our favorite comedy special and everything. And he loved Raw and Delete. He was not offended by it.
Yeah.
But then once we found out and we sitting up talking to him and stuff like that, we see like, dang. So half of the stuff we walk on eggshells about, like, you ain't even tripping over. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's a lot of people that's uncomfortable in their own skin that get offended because they're not comfortable to say where they are. And so you're offended because you really can't put out there where you really are. And then you got other people who want to get offended for people because you think somebody's going to be hurt by this thing. And if you go back and watch, like, most of the time when they play Pepe Le Pew, and I seen even the gifs or the memes or whatever, and all they show is Pepe kissing the girl and her trying to run away. They don't play the whole cartoon like we talked about with the Kirk interview. Right. We don't have the whole thing. We don't see him ignoring her when she looked like a cat, and then she get hit with the pain and run under the fence or something like that. And then he see, oh, it's another skunk. Like, I'm a skunk by myself, and I see a female skunk, and so now I'm not alone anymore.
Right.
And then again, once she get hit with that water or whatever, then he's like, what happened to my baby? Like, my boo is gone.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying. The context is gone.
I'm with you on that. Like I said, I ain't gonna fight over Pepe. I'm against the cancel culture, but
so with that being said, so should Miss Piggy be canceled? I
mean,
because she's worse than Pepe.
Yeah, she was on Kermit. Because she
did everything he did, and she was abusive. She was physically abusive.
Right.
Not just to Kermit, to everybody.
But she a woman though.
And
you know the deal.
But I'm just saying.
We don't make the rules. But I'm just
girl that played in she played in what's that movie? They took her out because they just took her off a movie. She was married to Johnny Depp. But they just took her off a movie because it was said that she was physically beating him too. Mm-hmm. Like she was putting her hands on him too. And so they took her off the movie because she was putting hands to him as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, and then the way, in his defense, what he was saying is, yeah, I did, but it was because she was attacking. Like, I had to defend myself because she was coming at me. And then other people vouched and was like, yeah, she was that type of chick.
See, the thing that I always have been seeing with this cancel culture thing is
it's one-sided?
It's definitely one-sided, but it's also like the culture wants to take up for the women or big up the women. Because then now in return, it's going to be the women's job to soften up the men. Because the last thing a man wants to do is disrespect a woman or disrespect. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we're going to take up for these women. It's a double standard. Like you said with Miss Piggy, it's a double standard, but that's the way the culture is kind of set up. We're going to take up for the women no matter what, no matter if it's a hypocrisy, a double standard or whatever, because it's going to be now the women's job to soften up the men. You know what I'm saying? However, the power of the P or however that you do it to now, because the last thing you want to do, just like Stephen A. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, he got in trouble on ESPN because he said something about a woman and he was suspended for maybe like a week or something.
No, yeah, I remember because he made the comments about if a woman puts her hands on a man, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he bitched up because he didn't want to lose the money.
Exactly. But that was the case. That's what that makes you do.
But this is the hypocrisy though, JB. You know, I was a teacher for 7 years now. Mm-hmm. Women, single mothers who had sons, without fail, anytime it was a look, and it was girls who, you know, sometimes when a girl like a little boy, they'll hit them, but they would go tell their mama like, oh, well, this girl's picking on me, she hit me or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want to hit her because she a girl, and without fail,
yeah,
you better hit that little girl back.
Right.
Now, because you got a son.
Right.
Check this out. My own godson. Mm-hmm. And you know the parents, right?
Right.
So
sure. I don't.
I'm gonna say the last name, Bird.
Yeah.
Context, you get it.
Right.
But and I had to tell them like, look, I feel you. I said, but I had to tell them I'm like, look. You know, he just y'all taught him not to hit, you know, a girl. And I said, but then from her, she's not bullying. She actually likes him. That's why she hitting her. It ain't bullying him. She actually likes him. And she don't know how to say that. That's what it is, but don't get mad. But she was like, man, you better let him knock that little girl out.
Right. Yeah.
And then when she comes, she's like, you know what? Yeah, you shouldn't hit girls and everything like that. I get, but that's the reaction. And so, and I've seen it, not just with me being in school, with me teaching 7 years from 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd grade, even me being over at Melrose, working with the high school. Like, I've seen it. Women who got male sons and you single parent home, you ain't gonna let your son sit up and get beat up by no woman.
Yeah.
And some of these women are the most independent, strong, not just women, just people, period, I've ever seen in my life. But you don't want your son to get picked on, a bullet, or beat up by nobody. You see what I'm saying? So, like, it's a double standard when it's convenient.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all I'm saying. When it's convenient, it's a double standard.
Yep.
But now, if somebody invades America, and we don't see that now because we've been in a certain position for years, but if somebody invade America, you don't want no dude that's going to be trying to talk to the invaders. Somebody breaking your house. Okay, guys, I think we need to say, so what made you break into my house? What are you feeling right now? You want a dude that's going to be like, hey, y'all go here. Hey, we good.
Yeah.
You make sure the kids straight. But see, this the thing. You can't, as a lioness, you get intimidated by the lion because you're too aggressive. You got claws and these sharp teeth. So you know what? I'm going to give me a penguin. Because a penguin, I'm not scared of a penguin. Yeah. You can play with your food. But what happens is when some animals come attacking or whatever, the penguin can't do nothing. Now you want a lion. But he can't be what he's not. He ain't got no claws. He ain't got no fangs. Yeah. He don't know how to do nothing but waddle and run around and slide on his belly. Like, that's all a penguin know how to do.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So now, if you want a lion, now granted, that doesn't give the lion a right to slap you every time you say something he don't like. That don't give the lion a right to mistreat you and neglect you. But you can't take away the claws and the fangs and the roar. That's part of what makes the lion the lion. Now, it's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But I think the problem is that we want what we want when we want it, but we want to remove everything else. But then when a bad situation happens, okay, now get your claws back.
Yeah.
But like, if you pussify a man long enough, and you wouldn't say it, but that's okay, I'll say it because you can't say it. If you pussify a man long enough, then when a bad situation happens, he ain't gonna all of a sudden flip a switch and then boss up when somebody break into the house. He gonna be docile like you wanted him to be.
Yeah. I agree, man. Like, I'm like I said, I'm not with the cancel culture. I'm a pass with the Pew, but
man, look, name a rapist that you know that they profiled or they put out, plastered John Wayne Gacy and all them people like that Ted Bundy that said, you know what, the reason why I started raping and murdering women is because I used to watch Pepe Le Pew.
Oh yeah, nobody that I know.
These dudes, you was molested as a child, you was abused, used to kill small animals. Like, that's the story of and I'm not saying that's everybody, and I'm not stereotyping people, but it ain't never, oh, you know what? I used to watch Looney Tunes, and so that just made me want to kill. I watched Looney Tunes, and I saw death, kill, rape. Never. And again, I say this, our generation, we grew up watching Family Guy and South Park, two of the most offensive shows in the history of life.
Yeah.
And so that should have us more open to anything, to see the humor and the satire and stuff. But we are so weak and cowardice when it comes to our views and thoughts. And we are raised on shows The Simpsons. Like, we're raised on these shows that offend.
But it's just going to get worse now, though. Because, especially under the administration that we're under now, it's not going to get any better. If anything, it's just going to get worse. And so, with the cancel culture, I'm definitely against it. I'm just like, certain stuff. I'm just going to pick my battles just because it's always going to be a hypocrisy, because that's.
But this is why I got to defend it, JB, because he's first, we next.
Yeah.
So, like, if we don't, What did Martin Luther King Jr. say? Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Yeah.
So now if I let that slide, even though that doesn't directly have anything to do with me, next they will be saying, if you watch the Presidential Executive Podcast, that's toxic.
Right.
Don't let your sons watch that. You get toxic masculinity.
Right. And then we just gotta go. Then
like,
I gotta go in. Then I gotta go in. Then I gotta go in.
Nah, but I gotta go. Like, and I feel you. Yeah. That's fine. You take that position. Yeah. But I can't sit by idly because I don't see nothing wrong with what Miss Parker did. It was comedy.
Right.
Context.
Right. And I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see nothing wrong with what Miss Piggy did. And I was just playing the devil's advocate. I get it. Right. It's context. Right. It's like an old married couple where the woman is more aggressive than the man. Like, and you see that. It's comedy context.
Yeah. It's definitely come like I said, every time with Pepe Le Pew, I was tripping about it. I was looking at something on YouTube, just his whole vibe.
I never wanted to kill myself watching Daffy Duck do that one where he drank the TNT and blew himself up. I was like, oh, let me kill myself now.
Right.
I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm with it. So, but that's the yin to the yang. That's why I knew I didn't have an articulate opinion on it. So that's why, he's the presidente. You know what I'm saying? I'm the executive. You gotta start. Look, okay, so you gotta stop pandering to the female audience. I'm pandering? You think I'm pandering?
Man?
I'm not pandering,
you
man.
Stop pandering to the female audience.
I'm not pandering. I just like, look, you'll be in my position soon. So you just,
dude, nobody
you pick and choose. But this is true to me though. I'm just like, I literally looked at the story and was like, okay, I'm not gonna bicker about that. Like I get enough. Just like I said, even Chappelle brought up on the stand up was like,
but he was making a joke.
He was making a joke, but you know how he jokes.
Okay,
though.
But again,
it's serious.
But check this out. No, he
was real about it.
He's not anti-gay. But did you hear the joke he made about Freddie Mercury the last time he was on Saturday Night Live?
I don't remember.
So what he said he said like when Freddie Mercury said he got AIDS, nobody was surprised. And you heard people in the audience go, oh, and he was like, what did I say wrong?
Yeah.
Because he was saying like everybody knew Freddie Mercury was loose with his sexuality. He was screwing men and women.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so when he said, all he was saying is he was juxtaposing what he said that people weren't surprised about, like when Freddie Mercury said he got AIDS, and everybody like, oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Like nobody was like, what? It's like, and that's all he was saying. He was just making a joke, and he was pointing out in that joke, and I believe it was Killing Me Softly, but he was making a joke about how, based on your perspective, you don't think about certain things. And so essentially, like he's great at that. He's like, I can make you think about something in a way that you never thought about it before.
Right.
And most of the time people are like, no, you can't. Just like he did the one joke, wasn't the last one, but it was maybe the second before the last one where he said, I could reach in the bowl and let's just say I put out a topic, kicked in the pussy. He said, I can make a punchline out of that and y'all will die laughing about it. And so everybody's like, oh, so they was waiting on the punchline. Mm-hmm. So he started, like, he goes on and he started talking about this story about the stuffing and everything like that. So when he gets to it where he said they gassed up this stuffing, he said he wasn't going to, then they said, oh, we don't have enough of you. He said, so I kicked her in the butt and everybody busted out laughing. But again, he had said 15 minutes before, I'm finna tell you what the punchline is and you're going to laugh by the time I get to the punchline. Mm-hmm. And everybody was like, no, and that's all he was doing. He was just pointing out subtle humor. Like when Eddie Murphy made a joke about Mr. T being gay. Mm-hmm. Mr. T wasn't really gay. You know what I'm saying? And Mr. T never assaulted him in the club. But it was funny to think about how Mr. T would have approached him if he was trying to hassle him in the club.
But just like with anything, if you give stuff legs, it's gonna walk. You know what I'm saying? And
whatever these niggas smoking, I guess I've been doing the wrong thing. Like, I like a good adult beverage. I probably need to be smoking what they smoking.
Hey, I don't think you want to be smoking that synthetic stuff. That's what they be smoking now.
Oh, no, you know what? That's another story for another day, another episode. I had a bad experience with some synthetic stuff once.
Them young bucks be on that synthetic.
And I got banned from one of my homeboys' house for life because of that. Well, his mom's house, like, the synthetic, stay away from the synthetic stuff.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's a whole nother, that's that smoky. on Friday.
Yeah, it was. I was legit like that.
That's a Smokey Out Friday. But again, y'all, continue with that executive mindset.
And as always, keep it presidential. Bow. Arrivederci.